Hello friends, in last video lecture we saw Gibbs free energy equation, that is delta G is equal to delta H minus T delta S. In yesterday's lecture or in last lecture we saw whole expression that how we can derive delta G, delta H and minus T delta S. So delta G, delta H and delta S, all these three terms are, as I said earlier also, they are a state function. That means they are depends on initial and final state of the given system. Also, these are extensive property. That means delta G, delta H and delta S are depends on amount of substance. Those properties of the substance who are depends on the amount, then that properties are called as extensive property. Okay. Now we will see here significance of Gibbs free energy change, that is delta G. What is the use of Gibbs free energy? Gibbs free energy is very important to enable to predict whether the reaction is spontaneous or not. That means whatever the unknown reactions or process if you have, whether that reaction or process, whether it is the spontaneous or non-spontaneous, that can be understood very well without any kind of hesitations. We can directly call this reaction as a spontaneous or non-spontaneous on the basis of delta G. So the sign of delta G is very important. So we have categorized the value of delta G into three different signs, that is negative, positive and zero. If delta G is negative, then the reaction is spontaneous. Remember, if any chemical reactions, if you want to know the thermodynamic parameter, then if delta G is negative, simply call that reaction is a spontaneous. If delta G is positive, then the reaction becomes non-spontaneous. Okay. Now if delta G is 0, then the reaction is called as equilibrium. That means any reactions which are in equilibrium position. What is in equilibrium? That means the rate of forward reaction and rate of backward reactions, if both are equal, then the reaction is called as equilibrium. At that time, such a reactions having delta G value 0. This can be understood with the help of following table. So in this table there is some correction, that the sign of delta G H is given, then sign of delta G and then sign of delta S. That is the you have to remember. I will show you. This is delta H. This is minus delta H. This is minus delta. Not like that. Minus delta G. In first column there is minus delta G, in second column there is minus delta H, in third column there will be minus delta S. Now if the sign of delta G is negative and sign of delta H is also negative and sign of delta G is negative, then the reaction is always spontaneous. Remember, if all three terms delta G, delta H and delta S, if all three terms are negative, then obviously that process is a spontaneous. Okay. Now if delta G is negative but delta H and delta S is positive, then that process become a non-spontaneous. If delta G, delta H both are negative, and at low temperature if delta is also negative, then the process is spontaneous. But if temperature is higher, then delta S become a positive. At that time that particular process or reaction become a non-spontaneous. In fourth case, if delta G is positive, delta H and delta S, if again delta H is positive, delta S is negative at high temperature, then process again become a spontaneous. But if delta S is positive, then again process become a non-spontaneous. That means with the help of this chart we can easily understand that whether the given process is spontaneous, non-spontaneous, on the basis of the sign of delta G, delta H and T delta S. So that is very important significance of Gibbs free energy that you have to remember. Okay, now just 1 minute. We will see variation of free energy with temperature and pressure. This is the application of Gibbs free energy. That means whether the free energy, Gibbs free energy varied, or whether it is depends on temperature or pressure or not, that can be understood with the help of this particular expression. If Gibbs free energy undergo change with temperature and pressure, then the Gibbs free energy equation can be written as G is equal to H minus Ts, that we had already discussed in last video lecture. And we also know that H is equal to what? H is the enthalpy change, enthalpy, which is H is equal to internal energy plus PV type of work done. So H is equal to E plus PV. So you just substitute equation 30 into equation 29, you will get what? G is equal to E plus PV minus Ts. Okay, so this equation now becomes 31. If you differentiate above equation, that means if you take a derivatives of above equation, then you can understand that dg is equal to dE plus pdv plus vdp minus sdt minus sdt tds. So whatever the term which is given in equation number 31, that you have to differentiate separately, and then you will get the new equation dg is equal to dE plus pdv plus vdp minus tds minus sdt. But according to first law of thermodynamics, work done in expansion is P delta V. That means W is equal to P delta V. So above equation can be written as, so according to what is the equation of first law of thermodynamics? So in last lecture we saw dq is equal to dE plus pdv. This is the equation of first law of thermodynamics. So we also know the value of change in entropy. Delta S is equal to dq reversible upon T. So you just rearrange T delta S is equal to what? dq reversible. And we know the dq is what? dE plus pdv. That means TdS is equal to what? dE plus pdv. So substituting in the equation 32, that means if you substitute equation 33 into 32, then you will get dg is equal to vdp minus sdt. That means if you substitute the value of T delta S in equation number 32, then there is some terms which are going to cancel. Which terms? So we are going to cancel, that is d pdv, that terms become double, that means that can be changed, cancel. D minus d will get cancelled with plus d, minus pdv get cancelled with plus pdv. So what terms are remaining? vdp minus sdt. So dgv is equal to vdp minus sdt. At constant temperature, dt is equal to 0. If temperature remains constant, then equation 34 also can be written as dg is equal to vdp. Why dg becomes equal to vdp? Because temperature is constant. If dt is 0, then obviously whole term become a 0. So S dt become a 0. So dg is equal to vdp, or this equation can be written as dg upon or d by g upon d by p at constant temperature T is equal to V. That is the another simpler form of this given equation that you have to remember. Okay. Now let me consider a second point, that is at constant pressure dp is equal to 0. Then vdp term becomes 0. So what is remaining? Only minus s dt remaining. So dg becomes equal to minus s dt, or dg upon dt at constant pressure P is equal to what? Minus s. So here if you see in this expression or in this whole equation, we will get two important terms. One is called as minus s, means negative entropy when pressure remains constant, or we will get plus V at constant temperature. So Gibbs free energy depends on temperature and pressure. If you see the free energy change with temperature at constant temperature, then we will get what? d by g upon d by p at constant temperature T is equal to V. That is, you will get a 36 when temperature remains constant. That means free energy change with respect to pressure at constant temperature, you will get the constant volume. But at the same time, if you consider constant pressure, then dg is equal to minus s dt. That means d by g upon d by t at constant pressure P is equal to minus s. So we'll get the equation number 38. So this is how we can get the two important terms. That is, one is with respect to temperature and another is with respect to pressure. So this is how Gibbs free energy equations can be changed with respect to variation of temperature and pressures. Okay, so we'll stop here. This is enough for today's lectures.